here. Um, and yeah, I will head on to tell you more about the Jupyter4NFDI service. Just to give you quickly an overview or what we're going to cover today, a little bit of introduction to the service and I will discuss also why Jupyter4NFDI could be useful for you if you're a researcher, present a couple of use cases, and also maybe touch upon the benefits to the resource providers. So those of you who are providing computational resources or working with organization providing computational resources for research. And then Julian will take us to a Jupyter4NFDI live demo. You will be able to follow along if you wish to do so. It's not going to be sort of a hands-on training session, but yeah, you will have an option to try it out yourselves. And then we will have a Q&A session. Jupyter4NFDI is a service that is a part of the Base4NFDI. What is really important, what we want to emphasize here, is that is an ongoing. It's a service that is still being shaped, being built, and so we really want to hear from the research community across the whole NFDI, across research organizations in Germany, so that we can shape the service to meet your needs, your requirements. So we are very responsive. We want to hear from you, and we want to know what is useful. We're at the integration phase, so there's still a lot that we can shape and change within that service. Now, what actually is Jupyter4NFDI for? Jupyter4NFDI builds on the top of Project Jupyter that some of you might have heard of. Project Jupyter is a whole ecosystem of open source tools, infrastructure for research, for the computational side of research. And Jupyter4NFDI uses most of that software, most of that tooling, that infrastructure to enable wide access to computational resources in Germany for researchers based in Germany. And this computational infrastructure from Jupyter Project, the main goal is to provide an environment that allows to build research that is reproducible, that is interactive, that is reusable from its computational side. So these days, most of the work done in research includes at least an element of computation, of programming, of working with data. And a lot of the time, the way it is done causes trouble later on in reproducibility and reusability. And Jupyter Project tackles that. Jupyter4NFDI adds several layers that are advantages on the top of the Jupyter Hub, Jupyter Project ecosystem. So let's have a look a little bit more in depth. If you're a researcher, Jupyter4NFDI provides you with a ready-to-use computational environment that sits on the top, as I mentioned, computational resources in Germany. So if you need more powerful computational resource that is on your computer, on your laptop, this is exactly the solution for you. And there is a range of computational sort of flavors of machines that you might be able to use. And you are able to log in from anywhere. So this is an environment that works in your browser. You don't need to install anything. And again, you have access to several resources in Germany, and the aim is to bring in more resources. So you don't have to separately log into different computational clouds that might be available. We also integrate storage And so if you have data within your organization or somewhere else in the research infrastructure, you don't have to copy over that data, for example, to a computational cloud. You are able to connect it to Jupyter4NFDI, and there are several different storage systems that we support. And also, as I mentioned, you can log in from anywhere, and you can log in through the service IM4NFDI that is responsible for login authentication for NFDI. That also means that your accessing environment is secure, and you can do it with the credentials that you already have from your research organization. And so can your collaborators that you might be working with together. It's also a service that can help you, and this is probably when it really starts to shine, to reuse or collaborate on others' research. So as I mentioned, there's quite a bit of computational work that goes along with almost any piece of research these days, from drafted projects or from projects that are at their inception to published papers. They often come in the form of the computational notebooks, Jupyter notebooks, but also multiple other formats, which are all, most of them are supported by Jupyter4NFDI. If you want to rerun that code, if you want to try and test out what others have been building or work collaboratively on it, if you don't have access to a computational cloud, you need to do it on your machine. Yes, there are other instances of Jupyter Hub and services that seemingly seem similar to Jupyter4NFDI. However, what we provide additionally is the fact that you can save your work. There is persistent storage that comes with Jupyter4NFDI, and you can not only try out what others have worked on, but you can start building on the top of it instantly as you launch it for Jupyter4NFDI. You know, again, the security of being able to use compute that is within the NFDI. It is provided by German research organizations. It means that if you're handling sensitive data, you'd like to apply somebody else's model to your own data, this is the place for you. This is where you can do that. The reproducibility, I already discussed how important that is, that you can reproduce others people's work, but also that allows you to verify the results that others provided, perhaps also work that you start to collaborate on. You can share the environment, so you can collaboratively work on the environment, on the projects that you host within Jupyter4NFDI, and so that means that it's much easier to share the knowledge. Jupyter4NFDI is accessible across disciplines, so it's not specifically designed for a group of disciplines. You can collaborate across disciplines with colleagues that might be embedded with different organizations, different projects. We also are building Jupyter4NFDI to make training and teaching easier. In terms of training in computational methods for science, training in particular models, for particular skills, computational skills. This is also a great environment. It removes all the overheads that those of you who have ever run training, you know that these days it needs to be a particular environment, a particularly configured environment. shared distribution of any materials, assignments, data sets. All this is can take a lot of work and create actually a bit of a chaotic situation before training starts, or even whilst it's running, when it has to be done individually by all the participants, perhaps even on their own machines. But even if it is some shared environment, there can also be challenges. Jupyter4NFDI actually already includes an option where you can set up a workshop, and that option will guide you step by step how to set it up so that you can have an environment that is the same for everyone who participates in the workshop. You also are able to control how much of the compute resources your participants are using. Again, this is something quite important when you are on a shared cluster, on a shared computational cluster. This is all under your control as a training provider. If you need more power, more computational power for your particular training, perhaps you are teaching some you're providing training that requires image processing, that may require quite powerful compute behind it, such as GPU. That is something that Jupyter4NFDI can also support. Of course, this is not by default. By default, there are some solid computational resources available for workshops, but that might not be enough. You can apply, you can contact in advance before your workshop the providers of the compute environments and ask if you could get more resources for your training. Now, a couple of use cases to show how Jupyter4NFDI is actually already used. The first one here, it is a C-proper workflow, complex workflow for astrophysics. This is a project that is currently being, so the code and the pipeline on the C-proper is currently being integrated. What it means that the code that was developed for this particular project has been available, but in order for anyone to try it on, anyone to experiment with it or to learn it, it required quite a lot of setup, either on your local machine or actually most likely someone's individual laptop would struggle to be powerful enough to leverage everything that is available in C-proper. So even if you wanted to use it on in an external computational environment, there was quite a lot of overhead to get it going. Currently, the work are undergoing, and they're quite progressed, quite advanced, so that with one click, you can open the C-proper computation notebooks, so where the code is integrated with the pipeline of the code is integrated with also documentation, and with one click you can be taken to Jupyter4NFDI, where you can start working with the code directly, with the model directly. You can change the parameters, you can adjust it the way you want it. And again, it only requires from you to have institutional credentials being based here in Germany to log into Jupyter4NFDI. The second use case is a bit wider. Application, or more a little bit, let's call it a meta application. So the previous one was domain specific for astronomy, but this one is a project which analyzed reproducibility of over almost 30,000 Jupyter notebooks. So Jupyter notebooks are those reproducible notebooks that laboratory notebooks that combine code and text, and these are very popular these days to be a part of publication, or some publishers even accept a notebook, just a notebook, as a paper to be published, so the combined text and code. Now the notebooks by design are meant to be easy to reproduce, but again, you need the infrastructure to be able to rerun those notebooks, and doing that on your local machines again requires quite a lot of setup. Changing those setup, different notebooks will require different configurations. Even doing it manually on computational clouds that you may have access to for your institution, that it's not an automated, it's not quite an easy work. But with Jupyter4NFDI, this pipeline of checking, testing the reproducibility of research notebook was able to automate that. So the authors of Jupyter of this project developed this initially for life sciences, but currently, so this is the integration phase or perhaps scaling up phase. This pipeline will be redesigned so that you could apply that to pretty much any set of notebooks that you desire within pretty much any discipline. So at a scale, you will be able to test out a number of notebooks related to publications, or perhaps any other work that might be in progress, and see what proportion of these are truly reproducible. But also the goal is to, thanks to this pipeline, to have some feedback loop. So if the notebooks are not reproducible, there will be some feedback that could be given to the authors to help them address that and make their work more reproducible. And now a little bit of a change of focus here. So I talked a lot about how Jupyter4NFDI is useful for you if you're a researcher, perhaps training provider, but also why I want to talk about why Jupyter4NFDI could be useful for resource providers. By research providers, I'm thinking here about organizations that run and maintain computational resources within German research ecosystem. Currently, you can see this map sort of depicts, we have several already that are part of Jupyter4NFDI. And as I mentioned, you log in through one central portal and you have access to these different computational resources. And so if you're a computational resource provider, that's what you get. You will have the service, you will be part of the service that does not require you to maintain your own sort of gateway, a way for users to access the resources. This is all provided for the Jupyter4NFDI, so you can think about it as one central gateway. Obviously, you still are in control of what you enable for those who log in through the Jupyter4NFDI to access. So that means much less overhead for you to support the users. That also means that as you make it more accessible for a wide range of researchers, there is reduced idle time. So if you provide computational resources, you know that one of the challenges is that there might be outbursts of a lot of activity, and then in between them there is a lot of idle time, but you still need to kind of maintain these services alive. That should help spread that load. That should allow more users across organizations to use the resources. Plus, there is also good support for the secure access. So as I said, that is handled by the central service responsible for authentication and login across German research ecosystem. And as a research provider, you probably also care about reproducibility and making sure that the work that you enable doing is aligned with the core concept of reproducible and open science. And so now I will soon hand over to Julian. So Julian will take you through a short demo showing you how to use Jupyter4NFDI and show you a little bit, few steps of the workflow that you could imagine a researcher would use Jupyter4NFDI for. So create and run a reproducible computational notebook, use a notebook computational resource that was created by others, and also show you how to use those different computational backgrounds that come, or environments that come already available in Jupyter4NFDI. And you are welcome. I'm going to post this link in the chat in a second. You're welcome to follow along. Just once again, a note: this is a demo, so this is not a training hands-on session. If you getting stuck, not being able to follow, I mean, please by all means put the question in chat, and I'll try to help as Julian is taking you through the steps. But yeah, we probably won't be able to help everybody to get things to work. That would be another session, a training session. So I hand over to Julian now. So I'm going to stop sharing and put that link in for you if you want.
So thank you, Aleksandra. Just sharing now my screen for you all, and I hope that you can see everything good. So wonderful. Yeah, welcome everybody from my side too. We are now in the demo session where we will visit our service and go through different features which you can use for your research. But don't worry if you never worked with Jupyter before. That's exactly why we're here today as well. We'll take we will take the thing step by step, and I'll explain everything as we go along. So as you can see here on my left side, there's already a Jupyter notebook open, which shows the demo session for today. And if you are using the link from the presentation, you will be able to see this on your screen too, and you can follow that. Or you just look at the shared screen here. So I think I do it like that, so you have more to see. So at the beginning, it can be tricky to log in our service, so I will show you that as well. So if you are going to our website, hub.nfdi-jupyter.de, you will see the login screen like that. We click on sign in, and in this, you have to choose your community, your NFDI community, or if you're not sure, you can use the guest account. So just search for it or type in, for example, guest, or if you are in a NFDI consortia, you can type the name, for example, like NFDI for Inc. That's what I choose now, and this directs me to the next part where I have to search for my organization. That would be, in my case, University of Stuttgart. And now I have to put in my credentials. And now I'm logged in. So after logging in, you land on what we call the Jupyter Hub control panel. This is your home base. Think of it as a dashboard where you manage all your Jupyter environments. And as you can see here in the screenshot, yeah, and here on the regular tab on the hub, the interface is fairly straightforward. As at the bottom here of the screen, you can see our different systems which are available at the moment, and the Denby cloud, the JSC cloud, and the GWDG. These are the servers which are able to run your instances and your code. So here on the main area, you see the overview of all configured instances of you from the past. So this is kind of the beginning for me as well. So here's nothing shown because I don't have anything done yet. Yeah, to create a new Jupyter Lab, we just click here on the bottom, button, and then we see the configuration view. So small panels where you can arrange a few things. So first you have to choose your system. This is now the default case, the Denby cloud, but you can here select the others as well. This might be different on the flavors, but you can explore this if you want by yourself by just changing that and comparing this. But now we stay first on the Denby cloud. Yeah, flavors. So are on that side, that means that you can choose your computational resources for your instance. At the moment, it's just possible to have a difference in the RAM. So in the most cases, in simple examples, just use the standard configuration. For our case today, this would be enough too. Yeah, and here on the side, there are several additional opportunities for you. You can, for example, add storage, for example, from a Nextcloud instance by adding this on that screen, for example. Or you can configure environment variables, but this is more advanced. For the beginning, we don't look at that. So yeah, I think now it's time to set up your first Jupyter Lab. And for that, we start here. So we just enter a nice title, like, I don't know, my first Jupyter Lab. And we keep all flavors, all configuration here as it is. And then we start our first instance. So now we have to wait a bit because this is freshly built, because it's new. And you might have noticed that a new browser tab has opened. So here on the upper side, if we go back, there is still the hub control panel. So you are still able to be on that side too. to change configuration, maybe, or to stop your current instance. And as you see here, now this is already mentioned in the overview as one of your available instances. So, and I think we can go back to the other tab, yes, where the Jupyter Lab instance is open. Yeah, at first glance, it might look a bit like a code editor, and that's not far off. On the left side, you have a file explorer where you can see all your files and folders. And in the main area here, you have the launcher. This is kind of a menu where you can create new notebooks, text files, and terminals, as you can see here. We've chosen the simple Jupyter Lab configuration. So there is just this software available as it is in the minimal notebook of the Jupyter project. So, and now we will use that now. And for that, we will open a new notebook. By clicking here. Oh, maybe the server. Ah, okay, that's new. Sorry for that. Maybe there is now too much traffic on it. So we reload the window and wait. So I'd already add a new notebook. So if you now click here, let's hope it opens now. A new one is added, so in the background it works. So good. Now it loads. This is not a normal thing, right? This is maybe because we now a lot of people which are joining the hub maybe at the same time. So just keep that in mind. So yes, now you see the Jupyter notebook, and it starts with an empty cell. And that's where we write our first lines. Maybe this is a feature of Jupyter notebooks. You can have documentation layouted or layouted documentation and code in one document. And you can do that if you choosing different cells, for example, for that. We can here now configure that we want the documentation, for example, in Markdown format. So we can do it like that. Our first example and something like that. And then we add below another cell block where we want to write some Python code. And as you can see here, it's already on code, so we can directly run their Python code. And to keep this easy, we just add this simple line here, just print command. So don't worry, you don't have to learn, in this case, Python. So, and that's it. Now we want to execute this whole thing. And this is, we can use this, the toolbar here in the Jupyter notebook, where we have the run button. And click on that and we will see, I hope, yes. So, and now you see that the cell with the Python code is executed. Yeah, and the Markdown layout as well. So you have here your code in this cell, and below the cell, the output of this code. So this is just a short example how you can mix or use that documentation and coding in one file, which is, of course, useful for the documentation of research or for the reproducibility of your research, because people are they have the possibility to follow your instructions, which you can document here, and then access in the code or just run the code. Yes, and now we save this example by clicking on the save button. So it's persistent now, stored. We have no fancy title, but this is in that case not the problem. And now we close our first example of an Jupyter Lab instance. And as you've seen, I pressed on the close button. Yeah. And this leads us back to the hub control panel here. And you see it's, now it's stopped our Jupyter Lab server. Tja, yeah, before we move on, I just mention a bit what we saw. So in the Jupyter Lab itself, you can write and run code interactively. Yeah, that's one of the main features. And results immediately are outputted, as you've seen in the print after the print line. And normally, today is special, but normally this is a quick execution and you should not have any problems about that. And if you then save your work, your notebooks, they are persistent between the sessions. So if we would get back into the Jupyter Lab here, the files are there as well too. So, and the environment is really flexible, as we will see in the next steps. And of course, we now have seen an example with Python, but there are other options, other languages available, which can be used. And this leads us to the next feature, and this is the Jupyter Lab XL. So the Jupyter Lab XL is an extended version of the Jupyter Lab we have seen. So it comes with more options right out of the box. And so the standard Jupyter Lab, what we've seen is just a minimal setup. This is great for just Python work. And in the Jupyter Lab XL, we have access to additional kernels, extensions, and tools. So as you can see here, or if we go there in the hub panel as well, if we select the Jupyter Lab XL here, as in the part select version, we have now a new tab with kernels and extensions. And there you have the possibility to select all features that, or a lot of features that you may need for your research. And we will see now that this is, if we select all options in this area, that this takes a bit more time to build. So I hope this will work for today, because the little one already, the normal Jupyter Lab already was kind of special, but let's see. So for that, we give a special name. And we can run that as well on just the JSC cloud. Yeah, this one is just available there. And the flavors are okay like that. So we start it. I select all, right? Yeah. So we start here now. So let's hope that this will work good. So this is a bit longer, but this is normal. So because of the many features that this Jupyter Lab includes. So, and now it's the Jupyter Lab starting page. So this is now as well the launcher here in the middle, where you have your features, and it's quite different because of it's not just the Python kernel. So you have here, for example, the possibility to launch a notebook where you can program with C, with Java, with Julia, and so on. Or you have, for example, the possibility to run VS Code via browser. If you use this feature, this will open a new tab with VS Code, and it has the same access to the same file system as here shown. And of course, some features are as well available via console, and you can directly, for example, add a Julia file or an R file. So yeah, this gives you a lot of flexibility for different kind of research tasks. And of course, you don't have to select all features for your Jupyter Lab example or for your special project. If we go back, we can close this now. You will always be able to reconfigure this by getting back on the kernels and extensions tab, and here you can select just the one you need. We can deselect all, and we can say we just want a Java environment, and then we can save that. And if we relaunch that now, you just have the Java environment configured for this. So this is now the little demo for the XL version, and I will make it quick. We now have a look at the repo-to-Docker functionality. This is one of the main features for reproducing or making research reproducible. The idea behind that is simple. Instead of setting up a software environment kind of manually or something else, you define everything in a repository. For example, a GitHub repository. And repo-to-Docker, or this functionality, takes this repository and automatically builds an environment for that. And in this environment, you have the Jupyter Lab overview as you've seen it before in the Jupyter Lab here or here. So if we make this example quick, we have to select in version here repo-to-Docker, and we have to I think we don't have to change a lot there. One big thing is we have a lot of repositories which you can use in that case. The GitHub one is the default, but you of course can use GitLab, Zenodo via DOI or a Dataverse instance. And yes, but in this case, we just look at GitHub. So I prepared a small example. If you click there, you will redirect to GitHub repository. This is just a showcase. It has nothing special in it, just a few files for demonstration. A README, a Python demo, a notebook, and some configuration files. So, and to use it with our repo-to-Docker functionality, we just have to add here the name to this repository or the URL. And we want to have everything persistent. So we mount our user data. So we click on that as well. And yeah, that would be all we need for the moment. And if we start this one, the repo will be checked out, and it tries to build this environment for you. it depends on how much configuration you do there and how much files are in it and how many data, how long the build takes here. So the example here is short, so that's why it's built so fast. So, and if we compare this with our GitHub repository, you see that the files which are in the GitHub repository are imported in this JupyterLab instance. So, and then you can work with them as you want. Here you can see the basic Python example where you can run the functionality which is in it. But I don't do that now, this takes too long. But you can see you can share your data with your functionality, with your code to others so they can reproduce it in that case as you intended to. And we close that again. And we are back with that. And how do you share? If you open an instance here on that side, in the last row, there is the share button or the URL button, which you can use for sharing this configuration. The link you have the link in the presentation is as well such a shared pre-configured environment, and it's, if you use it, you can see in your hub control panel, it's as well working with repo to Docker, and that's yeah, how you can easily work with and share your projects. Yeah, and this brings us to the end of the demo, and we can quickly recap that. Yeah, we first logged in and get it started with the first JupyterLab environment. We wrote a simple Python script and saw how the output appears directly in the notebook. Then second, we explored the JupyterLab XL, which gives you access to a wider range of tools, kernels, extension, and so on. And third, we used the repo to Docker functionality to launch a full JupyterLab environment directly from a repository. In our case, was it GitHub. And if you now like to explore more features and documentation, you can go in this configuration here to this directory in additional notebooks, where you can find more information about the service, more detailed introduction into Jupyter notebooks, and so on. And thank you all for joining.
Thank you so much, Julian. We have a few minutes left. We would like to ask you a couple of questions.